All right, let's look at the homework 2.7, problem number 7. All right, so we have capital G of x, which is a cubic function, and we want to first find capital G prime of a. All right, so let's do that. All right, so capital G prime of a is going to be, all right, so we have a limit as h approaches 0, right? Then we have a capital G of a plus h. So every time you see x in the formula, we're going to put a plus h. So it's going to be a 5. You have x squared, so you have a plus h squared. And then minus x squared, so we're going to put a plus h cubed. Then we're going to subtract, right? G of a. So we just put the, every time we see x, we put a in it. So you have a 5a squared minus a cubed, right? And then all over h, right? Then we just need to just multiply out. So you have a limit as h approaches 0. This is left alone. All right, so I'm going to actually do a computation a little bit here. So you have a plus h squared is a squared plus 2ah plus h squared, right? Then you have to distribute 5 to everyone. So what we get is 5a squared plus 10ah plus 5h squared, right? And then same way, so we have ah cubed can be rewritten as multiply out. So you have a cubed plus 3a squared h plus 3ah squared plus h cubed, right? So if you distribute this negative sign to everyone there, we're going to have minus a cubed minus 3a squared h minus 3ah squared minus h cubed, sorry. All right, and then we just have to distribute this negative sign to both of these terms. We're going to have a minus 5a squared plus a cubed. All right, so let's simplify that. All right, so we can clean up. You have a 5a squared minus 5a squared here. All right, then you have a negative a cubed and then positive a cubed. You can cancel those out, and I forgot to write that h on the bottom. All right, so you have a bunch of terms left over on top, but luckily everyone seems to have at least one h in it, so I'm going to pull h out. All right, so I'm going to pull h out. All right, so from here, if you pull h out, you have 10a left over. So I put 10a here. All right, so from here, if you pull one of the h out, so you have a 5h from there. And here, so you have, if you pull h out, so you have a negative, different color, all right, negative 3a squared. And then if you pull h from there, you have a negative 3a squared, or actually not squared, sorry, 3a and h, right? And then if you pull h from here, we're going to have a negative h squared. All right, and then that's everyone. All right, and over h. Right? So we can cancel h on top and h on the bottom. Right? H over h is 1. Right? Then we let the h goes to 0. Right? So you can see that here 5 times h is going to be 5 times 0 is going to be 0. And that guy stays. And here this one goes to 0. And this term 0 squared is still going to be 0. Right? What's left over is going to be just 10a minus 3a squared, right? So this is going to be 10a minus 3a squared, right? So let's type it in. Right, so we have 10a minus 3a squared, right? Let's check the answer. All right, I came back and looks like we got g prime of a correctly. All right, so let's find an equation of the tangent line passing through 3, 18. All right, so we're going to let, so this is going to be our x1, and this is going to be our y1. All right, then we need to find the slope. All right, so slope m can be found by using a derivative, right? So g prime, then plug in the x-coordinate of the point of tangency. So in this case, 3. So g prime of 3. So if you plug it in, so a is 3 there. So you have a 10 times 3 minus 3 times 3 squared, right? So that's equal to 10 times 3 is 30, right? So we have 30 minus 3 times 3 squared would be 3 cubed, so it's 27. So we have slope is 3, right? So we know that by point slope form, we can do y minus y1. y1 is 18 for the first one. And then slope came out to be 3, and then you have x minus x1 is 3, right? Since they want y equals form, so I'm going to actually go ahead and multiply out. You have 3x and then multiply by 3 there. So we have 3x minus 3 times 3, so minus 9. Right, then the last step is I have to move 18, negative 18, so you have add 18 to both sides. So you have the y1, yes, I using the same notation for two different things. Right, but you have a 3x, and the negative 9 plus 18 is positive 9, right? So the first one is a y equals 3x plus 9. Right, so let's type it in. Right, so we have 3x plus 9. Right, let's go ahead and do the other one too. Right, so now for the other one, we're going to let this one to be x1 and this one to be y1. Right, right, it's actually y2, I guess. And so the slope. If you want to find the slope, we look at g prime and then plug in this time 4, right? So it's 10 times 4 minus 3 times 4 squared, right? So 10 times 4 is 40, right? So minus what's this? 4 times 4 is 16, and the 16 times 3 would be 3 times 6 would be 18, and then you have 3 times 1 is 3, so plus 1, so it's 48. So slope is negative 8, right? So we can just do y minus y1 is 16 is equal to slope is negative 8 for this one, x minus 4. Right? just like before, we can distribute negative 8 to both terms. We get negative 8x plus 32. Right? Then we can simply add 16 to both sides so that we can isolate y. So y is equal to negative 82, not 82, negative 8x plus 32 plus 16 is a 48. Right, so let's type it in. All right, we got the negative 8x plus 48. Right, let's check the answer. All right, I came back and looks like we got the all parts of part A correctly. All right, let's look at the part B. All right, so we want to find the correct picture. All right, so first, this is a cubic function, and so it's got the S type of picture. And then since the leading coefficient is -1, which means that as you go to the right, it should keep on going down, right? So it looks like the first one is reasonable, and the second one is definitely not it, and the third one is not it, right? Fourth one, so it's going to be between the first one and the fourth one, right? Let's look at the tangent line. All right, you can see that we have two tangent lines. None of them are horizontal, so we can eliminate this one because you have a horizontal one. So the correct picture is first one. All right, let's check the answer. All right, I came back and it looks like we have the correct picture as well. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.